Hey guys, it's Leia. Today I will be filming my January and February wrap-up. I only read a total of 6 things in those 2 months. I've been consumed with video games in my free time. I just got my PS4 and I've been playing a lot of Battlefield. But anyway, on to the books. Starting out with January, the first book that I read was Illuminated by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and this book follows our two main characters, Ezra and Katie, and their planet has been attacked by these two corporations that are at war, and so now they are on the run, and Ezra and Katie end up in 2 different ships, and they soon find out that there are some shady things going on. And the main reason why I wanted to pick up this book is because of the unique formatting. It is done in like case files, emails, IMs, stuff like that. When I first started reading it, it was quite hard to get into. I was almost sure that I wasn't going to like the book, but man, was I wrong. I ended up loving the book. I really enjoyed the 2 main characters as well as the side characters, and being the format that it is, I didn't expect to be so attached to all the characters and their story, and it was just told so well, and I really enjoyed it, and I cannot wait till the next book comes out. I gave Illuminate 4 out of 5 stars. The next thing that I read was Saga Volume 5 by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples, and as usual, Saga doesn't disappoint. I think I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it. The story is just getting better and better, and as usual, I can't wait for the next one to come out. The last thing that I read in the month of January was 11/22/63 by Stephen King, and this book follows our main character Jake Epping, and he finds out that there is a way to travel back to the past to 1958. So he goes on a mission to save JFK from getting assassinated in 1963. So he goes into the past and he has 5 years to kind of do whatever, and man, his story was just so interesting. This book isn't just a story about his mission trying to save JFK, it was so much more than that. I love how we didn't just get a romanticized version of the 1950s and the 60s. Of course, there were cool things like awesome food, really cheap everything, but Stephen King also touched on the issues of racism, homophobia, segregation, and the characters were just so well written. They were flawed, they were selfish at times, and I just really enjoyed the ride. I'm currently watching the TV adaptation with James Franco, and I'm really loving it so far. It's quite different from the book. In fact, they change pretty much like the flow of events, but I think it works for TV, and I'm really loving it. And if you have read 11/22/63, I definitely recommend you watch the TV adaptation as well. Moving on to the month of February, the first thing that I read was Red Rising by Pierce Brown, and I know this book has been getting a lot of buzz on BookTube lately, mainly because the last book, Morningstar, has recently come out, so I wanted to just kind of marathon the series, and holy crap, I loved this book so much. Needless to say, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely love it. This book follows our main character Darrow, and he is a slave. He is in the lowest class of society on Mars, and one day Darrow decides that he's had enough, and he decides to try and rebel against society, and he finds out a lot of things about the social hierarchy in Mars, and it's just so interesting. I don't want to say too much about this book because there are so many secrets and plot twist to be revealed that I don't want to say anything really. I just want to say pick it up. Read it. This book does have a Hunger Games type feel to it, but it is definitely unique in its own way. It is very dark, it's very gritty. The descriptions in this book are very graphic, and I really enjoyed that about this book, and the characters were very flawed. I enjoyed every page in this book. The writing style was very hard to get into for me for some reason. Once I got used to Pierce Brown's writing style, everything just flowed and it was wonderful, and I can't wait to start the next book. The last two books that I read in February were Firefight and Calamity by Brandon Sanderson. These are the last two books in the Reckoners trilogy, the first book being Steelheart. And I really enjoyed these two books. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars, and I'm still unsure what star rating to give Calamity. I just finished it recently, and I did like the book, but the ending just was very unsatisfying, and I'm really conflicted as to what to rate it, because I did like 90% of the book, but then 10% of it was just, I really disliked it. The only other Brandon Sanderson series that I finished was Mistborn, and the ending to that trilogy was amazing. Amazing. Like, Brandon Sanderson just tied all the loose ends and it was beautiful. And this one, I felt like it was kind of rushed, and I don't know, like, I want to give it a 4 stars, but I'm leaning more towards a 3.75, but I don't know yet. There's just, I have to think about this book more. But as for now, love 90% of it. The last 10% I really disliked. So, but as a series overall, I think the Reckoners trilogy is really fun. I like the characters, and the world was really unique. Overall, as a series, I think I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars, and I still highly recommend it. Alright, those were all the books that I read in the month of January and February.